Today, in Sydney, Australian Border Force officers have pulled aside an American citizen for a bag search. It's her second trip to Sydney in the last 6 months, and officers want to know the reason for her visits.
She's been here once before for 25 days, but it doesn't sound like she really did a lot while she was here. So we wanted to explain her previous trip in a bit more depth.
It's nice. It's a really nice place here. So I like it, and I met a lot of people. I guess I was just different. People knew I wasn't from here, so they were really nice to me. So I had a lot of fun.
Okay, good to know.
Hopefully it's gonna be another fun trip. And someone said I need to go and visit a place called Blue Mountain. I didn't get a chance to do it the last time I was here.
When you said you went bushwalking,
To the national park.
Okay, which national park?
I don't even remember the names. But I know we went to a national park and we, what they call bushwalking.
So when did you apply for your visa to come over here?
Wow. It was done online
When?
for me a while ago.
I mean, how long is a while ago?
It's probably been over 6 months.
Over 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Probably less. I'm not even sure. I'm not 100%
Wouldn't
sure.
be
I don't want to
6
lie to
months
you. I'm not sure at all.
you're not sure. So who applied for your visa? Did you do it yourself or
No,
somebody
someone
else?
did it online for me.
Do you know who this person was? Because they
Yeah.
need to have
Oh.
your personal details in order to apply for you.
Yeah,
Do you know who did it?
that was Paul. Paul.
She claims that Paul is a friend, and the main reason for her last trip to Australia was to visit him. But she seems remarkably unsure about any other details.
Do you know what kind of visa you're on? Like tourist visa, employment visa?
Is there any way you can look it up? I'm not sure. I didn't apply for it. I gave Paul all my information. And I'm not even sure what type of visa he applied for me.
So he did it for you again this time?
Yeah. No, not this time.
The woman explains that this trip is not to visit Paul, but another man named Peter. But when questioned further, she knows very little about him, including where he actually lives.
I don't know. I don't really know the difference yet. I'm still learning.
Okay,
The difference
between...
of the different neighborhoods in Sydney. Sydney is different than Melbourne. And yeah, I'm still learning.
But usually what people do is when they go to another country, they go on the internet, they find out, okay, this is the city I want to go to, this is all the things I want to look at, I can stay there. And Sydney is different from Melbourne,
Yeah.
and how far away they're from each other.
See, last time I had someone to drive me everywhere. I was dropped off at places. I never really knew, oh, this is such and such neighborhood, or this is a certain different part of a neighborhood. I just never really knew. I went to even the malls.
With things not quite adding up, a swab is taken of the lining of her suitcase to check for any traces of narcotics.
Some things I did alone, and I just had, the rides drop me off because I was scared to drive over here because it's different than back home.
Officers strongly suspect this passenger has something to hide, and this test may help in finding out exactly what it is. Morning rush is on at Melbourne International Airport, and Biosecurity Officer Rob has already stopped a mother and son who have arrived from China. During a bag search, he has located one of the world's most expensive food products. It's a box containing Chinese bird's nest, which is made from the saliva of a swift.
It is quite pricey, we believe. It's dried up bird saliva, and with avian influenza, it's a high-risk material for us, so it's strictly prohibited. Just concerned that they'd failed to declare it. We gave them ample opportunity to do so, they still failed to do.
But the search of the rest of their bags comes to a dramatic halt when biosecurity officers realise that there is something sewn into the pocket of a coat.
So you're going to get bird's nest off them?
Suddenly, this becomes a case for Australian Border Force to deal with.
I stopped as soon as I detected, asked what was inside the lining of the jacket. Yes, I stopped it right there and then. Just very fidgety.
Excuse me, don't touch.
When the pocket is pulled open, officers get a big surprise.
Ah, here we go.
I'm not really a big like pants person.
You like your skirts?
Yeah, I've always been like a little girly girl. They wore skirts and dresses.
This American woman is on her second trip to Australia in less than 6 months and says she is here to visit her friend Peter and go sightseeing. But Australian Border Force officers are not convinced that this is all she is here to do.
You don't have this bag x-rayed?
They suspect she is hiding something, but a swab test from the lining of her suitcase fails to find any traces of narcotics.
My shoes.
Thank you. I actually got them from here the last time I was here.
As the search continues, the X-ray of her case gets the all clear. But then Officer Atisma locates a document which indicates why the woman may really be here.
She doesn't. Now she suddenly remembers, oh, I have to go to Perth. I didn't know.
We can finish the bag search. There's some items in the bag search that aren't really consistent with a stated reason for travel. We found this letter that indicates that there may be a little bit more to this than a general passenger on holidays. So she hasn't got a ticket to Perth.
No,
So what's the plan? She comes here, calls someone, and they organise everything.
that's right.
The letter, which is addressed Hello Slave, implies that the woman may be a professional sex worker who's here for an arranged encounter with a man in Perth for the next 7 days, where she's agreed to be his submissive.
Right. Was she here last time for that as well?
Did you engage in any of this last time?
Say that again?
Were you here for this reason last time as well?
Not for that specific reason, but I did see somebody 2 days when I was here, yeah.
You did? Okay. Did you receive money for that? Yes?
And that was my spending money at the time I was
Okay,
here.
how much money did you receive?
About $800.
Okay. How much are you going to receive for this?
I don't know, I have no clue yet.
Okay, but you're going to get paid.
Probably so. Probably just spending money, dinner, if I want to go shopping, they'll take me out sightseeing. Everything. Like if I don't want to stay with them, they'll put me up in a hotel for a few days. They'll make sure I get back to the airport safe. All those things. They're just really nice.
And why didn't you tell me all of this before you were making all that story
you
before?
didn't really ask me details or
I was asking you a lot of details.
Just gonna have fun, basically.
As I was asking you before, all I want is you to be honest with me.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a big deal.
No, I just want to know what
I've never
you were doing
I've been
before
here
and what you're doing now.
I didn't have this
And this is
problem.
obviously not what you told me you were doing.
No, because I'm here to have fun. This is just a plus.
Okay.
If she is being paid for the encounter described in the letter, it is a serious breach of the no work condition of her tourist visa.
So from here, we're going to refer her to some of our colleagues who are going to investigate a bit more into her visa conditions and whether she's going to comply with her visa status.
Let's go, please.
Convinced that the woman is not being entirely honest, she will now be taken away for further investigation so that officers can work out what is really going on.
Thank you.
This American woman says she is here for a 2-week holiday, but a search of her baggage has revealed a letter which describes in detail an encounter that she will have with a man for the next 7 days.
Are you warm enough?
No, not really.
Okay, how about you pop that on?
Yeah, I'm just making do.
Okay.
She is travelling on a tourist visa which has a strict no work condition. So Officer Alicia will conduct a formal interview to determine if she is coming here as a professional sex worker.
Do you have citizenship or permanent residence in any other country besides the US?
No.
Have you ever been known by any other names?
Diamond.
And what do you do back in your home country?
I'm home nurse.
A home nurse. Okay, so do you know anyone in Australia?
Yes.
Who?
Paul. Peter.
Who's Paul?
She tells Officer Alicia her last trip to Australia was spent with Paul.
Florence.
But this time she will be staying with a different man named Peter.
So what's the nature of your relationship with Peter?
We're friends.
Okay, is there a romantic relationship there?
No.
Not at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You were here last time for how long?
Like 20 days or 21, 20-something days. I don't remember exactly how many days. I know it was like 20-something.
And what did you do in those 20 days?
I walked the bridge. We seen the oh gosh, now I can't even think. They done asked me these questions so many times. It's like,
Which bridge was that?
do you guys? Oh my gosh, and I just can't think. Like I've been asked these questions 4, 5, 6 times, and I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in over 24 hours.
Okay.
What are the landmarks? Oh gosh. Every time I say it, everyone else knew, but.
So what does the bridge look like, or the landmarks that you have seen?
What is the, oh gosh, I hate this. I'm just really going blank.
What, is there any particular colour that the bridge is, or is there anything
really
that's
huge.
stands?
It's just huge. And I walked it, and we had to walk back, and it took like 30 minutes, an hour. What is the name? No, you know it.
Was there anything surrounding the bridge?
What's the one bridge everybody come here to visit, to see?
But was it what were the surroundings like around the bridge?
Everything here looks the same. It's not my hometown. Everything looks the same. Trees and water and
Yeah. Was it over a road, the bridge, or?
I can't remember, so let's just skip that question.
This passenger is going to have to do a lot better if she wants to convince Officer Alicia that she is a genuine tourist here just for a holiday.
The other stuff can go back.
Australian Border Force is inspecting a coat belonging to a Chinese mother and her son that appears to have a concealment sewn into the pocket.
Ah, here we go.
$10,000 of concealed cash is found. And that might not be all, as the other pocket also feels like it has a similar amount of cash.
So how much is that?
10,000 here and 10,000 here.
Yeah.
Why is it in here?
Any cash over $10,000 must be declared, and they now face the prospect of losing it all.
There'll be no money in these bags if I look?
No. Oh my God.
The search continues, and it soon seems that cash and bird's nest are not the only things that they should have declared.
So you got a carton of cigarettes?
Cigarettes.
Do you have any more cigarettes anywhere?
Yes.
How many more?
The same as that one. Why do you need to clear these? 50 grams.
50 grams.
How much have you got here?
I don't
Got
know.
nearly 600 grams there. Not 50, that's 600. So you won't be getting any of these today at all.
Can I go to the toilet now?
When the man is escorted to the toilet,
What's in these pockets?
Officer Steve notices something in his pockets.
I want you to put all out of your pockets. Go and put it back on the bench.
In Melbourne, Australian Border Force has already located $20,000 in undeclared cash concealed inside a Chinese woman's coat.
I ask you to put all out of your pockets. Go and put it back on the bench.
And now her son has produced another $20,000 from one of his pockets.
He requested to go to the toilet. We weren't going to take him to the toilet unless he'd actually emptied all his pockets out. And it wasn't until, he actually produced another $20,000 out of his jacket pocket. But yeah, it went from, $20,000 undeclared to pretty much $40,000 undeclared currency. Why didn't you declare it? What were you going to do with this in the toilet? You weren't going to flush it.
No.
No. I've just called the Australian Federal Police. They're on their way and they will have a talk to you.
The Australian Federal Police arrive and the pair are taken to a private room.
Just leave it out there. They don't need that in there.
If it's determined the money is the proceeds of crime or money laundering, the $40,000 will be confiscated. Australian Border Force officers are interviewing this American woman named Sarita to determine if she is a legitimate tourist. There are concerns that a letter found during a baggage search may indicate she is here as a professional sex worker.
I'd like to speak to you about this letter that was found in your baggage. Are you aware of the contents of this letter?
I haven't really read it all, so I don't really know the details or anything until I talk to my friends here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to read that letter now. Thank you.
Addressed Hello Slave, the letter goes into great detail of a mutually agreed encounter that she will have with a man named Michael in Perth for the next 7 days.
Okay.
It tells her what to wear and what she must say as his submissive when she meets him, and it is signed Master.
Okay, so can you explain it?
There's not much to explain. What this is saying is that I'm going to meet with a friend, Michael, tomorrow. And we're going to have dinner and we're going to do some touristy things and yeah.
Is that all that letter says in your...
I mean, it says a lot more, but I mean...
Yeah,
You didn't...
so I'm going to spell it out to you in black and white. It's basically, it appears that it looks like it's some
50 Shades
job
of Grey.
situation, yes.
50 Shades of Grey, I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. Look, we see everything all the time. Nothing really shocks us, trust me, all right?
I'm so embarrassed.
So is that the nature of your relationship with Michael?
Well, we're going to meet and socialize first.
Okay, so have you met Michael before?
Only through, phone.
Okay, so you've not physically met Michael before?
Officer Alicia is not concerned with what the woman does privately whilst she's here. Her only concern is if she's getting paid for it.
So I'm going to ask you straight out, is this, did they pay you for any exchange of sexual favours or anything like that? No.
After finding prohibited bird's nest inside the bags of a Chinese mother and son, biosecurity located something sewn into a coat pocket. Australian Border Force became involved and found $20,000 concealed inside.
Why didn't you declare it?
Plus another $20,000 in the son's pockets. And if the Australian Federal Police decide that the money is from the proceeds of crime or money laundering, they'll possibly face losing it all.
I think they've done some further checks to say they're not of interest to anyone else for any other reason, because they seem like fairly legitimate sort of travellers. I just think they've made a grave mistake by not declaring the money that they've got.
Even though the money is legitimate, they will be fined $850. But that might not be their only penalty. Biosecurity need to deal with the issue of their prohibited and expensive bird's nest that they failed to declare.
So I asked you whether or not you had any food to declare. You said no. Why didn't you declare this?
We forgot.
You forgot?
Too many bags. We cannot remember everything inside.
So it's bird's nest, okay? It's not permitted to come in. So today, we'll be looking at giving you on-the-spot fine to $340. Will you be paying that by cash or card? Okay.
As well as the $1,190 in fines and the loss of the bird's nest that is estimated to be worth around $650, the pair have also lost several $100s of undeclared and excess tobacco products.
So both passengers are leaving today a little bit lighter in their pocket than what they should have been. And all they had to do was declare. They still wouldn't have got their bird's nest, but at the end of the day, they should have just declared and they wouldn't have copped that fine.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to read that letter now. Thank you.
This American woman called Sarita says she has come to Australia for a 2-week holiday and to visit her friend Peter. But she is carrying a letter from a man named Michael, which details her willingness to be his sex slave for the next 7 days.
Okay.
She was here only a few months ago, and Border Force officers suspect she is being paid for her services, which is a breach of her visa conditions. But Sarita claims she will not receive any money.
Is there an agency involved or some that's, you know, helping you to get in contact with?
This strictly was just a friend situation. Like, I met him through Peter. I haven't physically met him, but you know.
You met Michael through
Peter.
So with anyone in Australia, have you had a relationship of this nature before when you've been here last?
No.
Okay.
But her claim that it's all just a bit of fun looks doubtful, as Border Force officer Claire discovers information which suggests there may be a lot more to the woman's story.
So she's a submissive. She's all over the submissive websites in America.
Sarita may be on the next flight home, but she remains positive about the outcome.
Everyone's really nice, so I'm assuming everything's going well. I've been honest. I've been given all the information they asked, so it couldn't go any way but good.